We're going to have Marilyn introduce tonight's judge. Marilyn,
Yeah, I'm here.
okay.
Well, tonight's judge is Bill Waldman, and he has been a friend of mine and a very good friend of the Camera Club for many years. And uh, anytime I've really been in a fix, there's every once in a while I make like 10 phone calls and nobody's available to be the judge and or the speaker. And somehow Bill always seems to come through and has been very generous with his time.
Okay.
If those of you who don't know his work, because I don't think he's been a guest speaker for, well, probably for at least 2 years. He does new work all the time. I mean, he does something new every day. We could have him back, and he can have things that the people who have seen his work for at least 10 years would have seen before. And uh, Bill, well, I know one of his uh, websites is just Bill at billwadman.com. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or is that
Yeah, billwadman.com. You can go
uh,
see almost everything.
and if you go to Drabbles, you find out what those are.
You can see some drabbles, you can see some motion stuff, you can see environmental portraits and conceptual portraits and studio stuff, and I shoot mostly portraits.
Okay, I know the last time you were here, Bill, you showed us in a lot of detail how you light your portraits, and you showed us a lot of technical stuff. But just go online. If you don't know his work, just take a look at it and enjoy it. And we're glad to have you, Bill. And
I'm glad to be here.
we went over
Rules.
the guidelines,
Sure.
and especially of the scoring, because there've been a few problems about that. So do you have any questions at all about any of that?
Nope. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, those are the 94 images for tonight. Just wanted to go over quickly, Bill, your judging criteria. Anything you really want to talk about, pleasing composition or whatever, composition, technical junk, exposure, sharpness, contrast, you name it, whether it has impact, whether it tells a story or communicates to the viewer, whatever you think is important. We have 94 images, so we want to get through these, maybe a half a minute or so, 30 seconds for each image, and then a score of A, B, or C. A is well above average. B is an average image that meets some of the criteria that you're judging by, and C is something that's below average and needs some work. Okay.
Yep.
So we're now going to go through a second time, much more slowly. You're up, Bill.
All right. Everyone can hear me?
Yep.
Super. Let's see. I think that this is over processed for my taste. Seems very, but I like the composition. The clouds or smoke or whatever's going on back there, but the way that the reds and the yellows up in those buildings just kind of gets crushed a little too much for me. So I like the shot, I like the composition, but technically it bothers me. So I'm going to give that one a B. Yeah. This picture looks like it was up-resed, like it was a super tight crop on this insect on this leaf. So that there's not that much detail left and it kind of got maybe AI up-resed. It's a neat picture of a bug, but it doesn't really say anything to me. But it's technically proficient, so I'm going to give that a B as well. Okay, when this one first came through, I really like this, but it's way over sharpened. I think it's a neat picture because you get all the birds, the pigeons on the rail. I feel like if it was a little less heavily contrasted and a little less over sharpened, it would be really neat. So that one gets a B as well. You know, this one is not usually to my taste, but it's funny. I just took a quick look at yours, the person who's doing that the moving images thing next week for you guys, and it looks a lot like her work. I actually really like the color and everything in this one. I like the motion in it. It grabbed me, but it doesn't have a singular sort of thing that I'm supposed to be looking at. As like a graphical element, it's interesting, but it doesn't, again, it's sort of a technique without something to say. So I'm going to give that a B. Trust me, there's some A's and C's coming up. All right. This one I really like. I like it. I think it's graphical. I think its color is really nice. I think it breaks things up. I think it's interesting. These geometric shapes and things. I don't know if it's just the one that was submitted or whether the file is that crunchy, but I'm actually going to give this an A because the first time through it spoke to me. I think the color's great. I think the breaking up of the boxes is great. I hope it's nice and sharp all the way throughout. But from what I can see, I'm going to give it an A. This picture is really cool, and it, as somebody who doesn't like heights, it made me a little queasy looking at it. As a portrait photographer, I really want him to stop for a minute and kind of have his Sawzall to his side and kind of like looking at you while he's on the edge of the thing. But I understand that that's not what the picture is for. But it's a neat capture, but it doesn't really. I want the subject to be a little more involved or to be a little closer to the subject somehow. So I'm going to give that one a B. Yeah. I think that, sorry, somebody say something? Okay. This one is kind of neat. I like the way she's turned. I do believe there's something going on. You see there's a cloned hair or something up above her head. That something got moved or something. Because it just seems like there's a like like right above her forehead, straight up. There's just that little blob. I think it's neat. I think it could be better. I don't know if it's moving, having the camera a little higher up, or maybe this one might be improved with even a little bit more contrast to really make it pop. But I'm going to give it a B. It's interesting. There's this picture and there's a picture later on of a guy standing outside smoking. And I found this one better than that one, I think, because of the eye contact the guy's giving. I'm a big sucker for eye contact, so I'm going to get sucked into that. Yeah, I mean, it's not an amazing image, but it is a very cool image. I'm going to give that one a B as well. This is one that I saw that it's like the exposure is nice. You get some detail in the shadows, but you get some detail out in the field with the horses. If it were up to me, I probably would warm it up a little bit. Just because the shadows go a little too blue, and I think if the whole thing was to just shift the white balance warmer, I think it would be more successful. I also think that maybe if you cropped it so that you could almost crop out the three people on the right and have it just be the two girls and then the girl on the horse and the guy, I think that might be a stronger composition. Because that way you're not seeing anybody's faces except for the girl riding the horse, really. So I'm going to give that one a B as well. It feels a lot of times when you're taking sort of environmental portraits like this, it feels it's very hard to toe the line between making a portrait and then taking a snapshot of somebody. This one leans snapshot to me, but I like the background. I like their clothes. I like the way the feet are in front of each other. I like the fact that they're in a shaft of light. But it's just missing something up in the left-hand corner. I don't know if it's you could have shifted to have her to the left of the doorway or something to fill that space, or if her arms were up or something, it would make it like a little more special. As it is, it's a little bit passive with her hands, even like that. So that one gets a B as well. This looks like multiple exposures. Yeah. I don't know if it was done in camera or if it was done in post. My guess is that it was done in post. I see what they're doing there. They're using like a screen or an overlay, so like colors kind of get reversed a little bit. It's neat, but it's just a pattern to me. But it's technically proficient. So the composition doesn't say anything to me, but it's technically proficient, so it gets a B. But otherwise, it would shift towards C territory to me. But that's just because it gets a little muddled. But I'm going to give it a B. Yeah. So again, I'm a sucker for the geometric ones, but I think the one that I gave an A a few pictures ago was stronger than this one. I take this picture all the time. Like this exact picture, I take it all the time when I'm traveling and see buildings and that kind of thing. The problem is that it's so easy to take because in the modern world, it's like I've got glass walls and I've got the sky and I can put things on an angle. I get it. I'm a sucker for it too. And it's technically well done. It looks really cool. but it's missing that thing that really speaks to me. So it gets a B. Let's see. It's a very pretty picture, and I mean, like with any still life, it's going to be static by definition. This one feels particularly static to me. I don't know. It's like it feels like the background of an encyclopedia ad or something, which isn't to say that that's a bad thing. It's just that it's not enough to get me up in A territory. But it's very pretty, and the light coming in what I'm assuming is a window, because you can see some light coming in the background too. It gets a B. The street pictures. You know, the shafts of light and people walking by thing, it can be really cool, but it has to be really striking to work, in my opinion. I don't know, there's something about the people actually holding their phones. I guess that's kind of the statement that's being made in this, is that people are staring at their phones when there's this beautiful light and these shadows and things happening across the frame. I like the black and white's a good idea. I like the contrast. I like the detail in the shadow. I like that the highlights aren't blown out. So technically, it's very well done. I need something more in the composition for it to really bite me. So it gets a B. So similar to the last one, I like the black and white. I like everything about it. I do like the sort of singular subject of this, that we just get this one little blackness in the frame of the guy in silhouette. I don't know. There's something that when we went through the first time, there's something I really liked about this picture. So while it isn't perfect, I'm going to give it an A just because it's kind of a neat idea. And I think they did it well with just the silhouette, and everything else has the grays tones. But yeah. Also a very nice photo of an owl. Technically it's good. They didn't crop too much. I think you could tell that there's a fence back there. So I'm assuming this was done as, oh yeah, there's the things on the bird's legs. I think it's neat. I think it's competent, but the composition, it's, having him centered there, I feel like you could crop the top and the right-hand side off of it. And it might be stronger sort of having the bird off to one side. I'm going to give that a B. Yeah, this picture's weird. When it came the first time through, it almost looked like it was like cloned around the outside. And I still feel like there's something going on there. It feels like a digital recreation. Yeah, there's cloned stuff going on. This is like a double exposure or something. But I kind of like it. It's just it's a neat idea, but it doesn't. In the end, you just get this clutteredness of the flowers and the berries. But the fact that they're playing with some technical trickery makes me kind of like it. It almost looks like it was shot on film as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I'm going to give it a B. Very simple. I like the bouquet in the background of the blue, probably flowers, bluebell flowers or something. The dandelion, I guess that is, thing in the front, not quite sharp enough for my blood. This is the botanical or flower equivalent of the sky and the glass wall, where, yeah, you can do it. We've all done it. I've been there. I would stop down a little bit more to get some more of the foreground really nice in focus, so that the background, even though it's bokeh'd out and it's out there, it's almost like the foreground blends into the background a little bit too much, but the colors and everything are pretty neat. It seems like it also like lifted the shadows a little too much. I would have a little more contrast in there. That gets a B. Oh, this is a great picture. That gets an A. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's striking. I like the shape of the veil. I like the light coming in. It's a tight, interesting take on a woman, a bride. That's a picture that if I saw it in a magazine or newspaper or something, I might actually like go find the photographer and send him a text and be like, "That was a nice shot." Because I do that sometimes. I personally would have gone in and cleaned some stuff up and post, like some of the hair flyaways, especially the one going in front of her bottom lip there. It's just distracting. But overall, very cool picture. Okay, this one went by earlier, and it almost doesn't look like a photograph to me. The way they're colored in certain ones, it's like a black and white photograph of buildings, and then you went in and colored certain things in Photoshop is probably what I'm guessing was done. And you get this Mondrian kind of thing about it. I think it's a neat idea. I think if you're going to do it, it needs to be perfect. And maybe the blocks of color, I personally, if I was going to do it, I would do them as an overlay or a soft or a hard light, and play with that so that some of the stuff below comes through, but the color goes, but it looks more seamless. It's a really neat idea, and in an ideal world, it would get an A, but it's going to get a B today. It's like William Eggleston on steroids. Multiplied. I think it's cool. I think it's a really neat idea. I think that you could come up with a better angle on it somehow, a different composition. Maybe do the Eggleston thing and kind of go low, like on the tricycle, or come down from above, because it's a weird thing to just come upon, which is probably what they were going for. Yeah, it's good. I might up the contrast a little bit so that the red pops. It's gonna get a B. So when this one first went through, I kind of felt like the feathers looked like it looks like there was a mask cut out, and that the feathers were tinted and the contrast pulled down in order to make the woman pop. I am a big fan of masking things and affecting different parts of the picture differently, but when you do it, in my opinion, it has to look like you didn't do that at all. This to me is like over affected, but the composition of the image is really nice. So I would try a less cooked version of this. Overcooked is the term that I would personally use. It's going to get a B, but it's a good idea, and I think it actually could be really great. I would like to see the original file. I think I might like that better than the post-production that was done on this. This is very classic, very nice. I actually really like the shadows and everything on this. This is going to lean into my proclivities. I really like that picture, and somebody knew how to get the sky to come down a little bit. I don't know if it was a polarizer or if you pulled the blues out in post. Um, I don't know why, but I'm going to give that an A. I really like that one. It bothers me in the modern world that we have these cables hanging down. It's just, I don't know why. Outside of my window here in Park Slope, there is an old satellite dish on the wall in the building next door, and it drives me up a wall that it's still there, even though it's not connected to anything. So yeah, we'll give it an A. This is technically fine, but ultimately it's a bottle on a table. It feels like a snapshot rather than art to me. It's technically fine. It's like the composition is fine, the color and everything is fine, but it's not doing anything. You could go tighter on that, maybe a tighter thing of just a chunk of the bottom of the jar, of the bottle rather, and some of the label maybe. A B, but leaning towards C, but I'm going to give it a B for today because there are some C's that I saw. This is where's that? Denver Airport, maybe. Yeah, I like the sky. I like the tent construction of the building. I like that it's a long lens. I feel like composition could be a little better. No, the composition is fine. It's just that I would have scanned left and right to see if there was a better way to sit those in there. Maybe it's a matter of like cropping that third one out so it's just sort of sky and the front and then the mid, and you don't get that back one in the right. I feel like it's almost distracting. But the sky is really beautiful. I'm going to give that a B. Really nice view of the Milky Way. I know it could be really, really hard to, and doing it at sunset or sunrise, so you get some of the sky down the bottom there coming out. And you see all those the little trails of either satellites or I think they might actually be satellites in there instead of stars. But it looks like he pulled up the a little of the he did some selecting, dodging, and burning, but I can kind of see it, I think. And it's a pretty grainy image. Could just be the way it's coming over on Zoom too. I'm going to give it a B because it's nice, but this done really, really well would be an A, but this one's just a little too technically noisy for me. But I love what you did. You could almost do it like if I was going to do that, I would almost don't even need the church. Look at the road and the tree down in the right-hand corner. That with the sky is almost a stronger image, like panned a little bit to the right. I think I laughed when this came through the first time. It's cute. Crushed the blacks a little bit too much because his head just gets completely lost. So you didn't even get the shape of his head. I would have gone in there and kind of brought that out a little bit just because it feels a little forced. Yeah, I'm going to give that a B. Man, I'm not giving any C's. You guys are doing really well today. I haven't seen anything that is like missing the mark completely. Yeah, that's that one. This I really like. The window's nice. The subject seems comfortable. The cat is a really nice touch. For the purposes of the composition, I'm going to give this one an A. I think it's really cute. I especially like the cat. Good direction on the cat. I'm actually going to give this one an A too. When it first came through, this is one of those examples of where you could look at light reflections and some stuff like this on the water, and it could be really boring. I think if in color, this would be less successful. I think it works because it comes graphical because of the reeds and the black and whiteness of it and the contrast. So I like that. I'm going to give that an A. I feel like I've seen this picture before. I like that it's backlit. I like the hard light. It feels like oh God, who was shooting this stuff? Irving Penn, late in his career, would shoot color stuff like this in the studio. It feels like that. I'm going to give it a B though. I think it's really neat, but to get an A, it would have to be even more stark. I think you could crop it a little bit tighter on the left and on the top because you're so close to the edge on the right there. And I would definitely go in and clean up the little whiteness underneath on the right. Yeah, right in there. Yeah. Yeah, so this is technically fine. This is at the garden up in the 110th Street or whatever the heck it is, or 100th Street on the east side, I think, in the Central Park. It's fine, but like it feels like it's just a shot of being there. It's technically fine, but you're not making, it feels like you're not making any decisions. So actually I'm going to give that one a C. Only because I feel like, if you were just walking around and held up your camera and took a picture, that's what you'd get. And it doesn't feel like there's any decisions really got made. Yeah, this one's neat. It feels a tad overexposed, but it kind of works with the blue and the white. I feel like this would be I'm going to give it a B. I feel like it would be a little more successful if it was just the doors and the thing like that. You couldn't tell what was going on in the upper right, and you didn't have maybe the woman on the left. So it was like just the two guys, excuse me, in the middle. Like it was a little bit more choice made. Right now, it just feels a little too all over the place, but it's a neat idea. I like the colors, and maybe pull the highlights back a little bit. Okay, using a long lens, you're using it on the bird. I see what you're doing, but the noise on the image and the way that the shadows were pulled up, and obviously there's some selective AI stuff going on because the bird's eye would not be that sharp and cut out, and the blurry wings. The composition is fine, but technically it feels like it was taken 20 years ago on a camera and processed back then, or early digital. I'm going to give that a C just because of the technical stuff bothers me. It's a fine composition, but technically it bothers me. It's like looks way too over processed in digital. This image gets an A. That's cool. It looks like a Van Gogh painting or something. Love the water in the foreground. Love how it breaks up. What probably would have been a pretty cool image of the back of a monastery or a house or something in England or Italy or something. Very cool. I wondered if I would have gone in and cleaned up the stuff that's just in the sky, the water, just to see if it would make it feel, some of those, just to make it feel a little bit more, because I love what the water does to the image below, but when it's up in the sky, it almost like is distracting. But we'll give that an A because that's a neat idea. I like the sharpening. I like the contrast. I think the color. It's very good. Yeah, the colors are great. The moment that this woman is great. a little distracting that her head is just cutting off that other woman's face. But I know you can't control all those things in situations like this. I would have tried to isolate her a bit more, either come in from the side a bit more, or open up the aperture if you could have, so that she's a little bit more separated from the background. But it's a competent image. I'll give that a B. And I didn't notice the woman with the need money down the bottom the first time. I think the shadows go a little too shadow. I think the car is distracting. If it weren't for the woman down the bottom with the need money sign, I would give it a C, but I like that addition, so it's going to get a B. But I think the dichotomy of the movie theater and this woman is interesting, but I mean, it's hard to get things lit outside that way and try to capture it without blowing something out or having nothing in the shadows. I would probably pull up the shadows a little bit in that. Here's another one that is similar to the sky and the glass, where it's like, yep, I get it. Been there, done that. It's neat. It's fun, but it's not distinctive from any other picture that's just like that to me, including my own. So I'm putting myself on the block as well. I'm going to give that a B because it's pretty. I like the structure of everything, but it's not distinct enough to say something different. This poor woman and her children. She looks exhausted. Yeah, it's a nice get. It's actually kind of like the border around it, although that's not normally my thing. It seems like she might be a little out of focus, and the focus is on the little girl with the water thing in the front, which takes it down a notch for me. But it's not so bad that it's killing it for me, so I'm going to give that a B. Catching a bunch of people in a moment. That's nice. You know, when this first came through, I was just like, I don't know if I don't like it at all or I really do like it. And I think I came down on the I don't like it at all. I mean, the crop is interesting, this sort of wide angle thing, this like 16:9 thing that's going on. I like the green. I like the gray. But it feels like a random crop out of a picture that's like this. So I'm gonna give it a C just because it feels too. It's not geometric enough. It's too structured and thus being uninteresting. I'm gonna give it a C. Love the colors in this. I wonder what it really looked like. It feels very broken up in a like the shadows have been lifted, like the contrast has been pulled down, and the colors sort of played with. It's pretty. I like the trees. I like the rock. I like the colors. But the composition isn't strong enough for me, so it's going to get a B. This is similar to the kid in the beginning who was smoking the weed. I think the picture of the kid was stronger than this one. It's a fine get. It's a little too nonchalant for me as a portrait. Street portrait, it's fine, but it's fine, but not screaming at me. I don't feel like I can understand this guy's soul by looking at this picture, if there's any sort of precedent like that. But it's neat. I'll give it a B. Oh, we're in Paris. I really like that. I'll give that an A. I like the X. I like the black and whiteness of it. This is one thing where I don't mind it going because it really is just about the structure and the shapes and everything. I've never gotten this close up to those to actually take this picture. I always take it straight on from the end with a longer lens. It's very nice. Well done. Yeah. I like seeing the building outside too, not just the sky. This one is black and white in the same way, but it's just not as quite as interesting of a subject. So it's going to get a B. It's technically interesting. They did the best they could with the place that they were shooting. It's like, oh, I can get a shot up here. Oh, look at that's kind of neat. It's just not neat enough to actually really take my breath away. So it'll get a B. That looks like it was shot on film, doesn't it? I would warm this up a little bit. This is the kind of picture that could be really neat. It was what saves it for me is the birds going through on the upper left. Because if you know, you could almost put your hand over that. If you didn't have that, it would be very ordinary. But as it is, I'm going to give it a B. It's also interesting that the birds are going left and all the cars are going to the right. Yeah. Yeah, B. You know, people are going to say that I have a double standard because I like the picture of the guy in silhouette on the stairs earlier. And I did. I mean, this is like more of a projection almost, the way that the light gets bent for the guy leaning over. I wonder if he's got a camera of his own or binoculars. It's neat. It just doesn't go quite far enough into the excellent territory for me. So I'm going to give it a B, but it's kind of a neat idea. Was that rotated? It almost looks like there's rotated in post and some black is up in the corner because that line and the sort of slice in the upper right hand corner seems really harder than it would be in camera, but I might be wrong. Maybe there's a pillar up there. B. That's a really sad picture. I think that it looks like the the subject matter is good. It bothers me that the tree is what's in focus and the guy is out of focus. But you can see that tree right behind the poles on the right is the thing that's in focus. And so it feels like it was sort of upresed or sharpened in order to make that guy usable in the front. I have no problem with the subject matter. In fact, I think it could be a really pretty picture. I would have gone lower to the ground, but the fact that the focus is that far away down the street, I don't know, it bothers me. It feels over-processed. And then you're kind of cutting, if you see the white on the upper right and lower left, it's like the crop isn't quite right. I'm going to give it a C just for technical stuff that drives me crazy, but it could be a very, not that you're going out seeking some guy who's strung out on the ground, but it has potential. This is another one where it's just like that. It's just technically too low res. It's like trying too hard to sort of, let's take what pixels we have and blow them up as much as possible. So it almost looks like a watercolor painting. It's fine. It's a, baboon or whatever it is. But just technically the resolution and the processing are too much for me. Way too much. C. This one, same thing. Yeah. It almost feels like a 1987 four-color image from like a Sierra Online game or something like King's Quest. Yeah, way too processed. I mean, it's funny because the composition is kind of cool and the owl is kind of cool. I don't know why you bothered doing so much to it. I think it kind of could have been cool as it was originally because I'm sure it looked like a more normal photograph originally. It's got
What
like
was the
this.
score before? What
Oh,
was the-
C on that last one. This one I'm going to give. I don't mind the composition. I think it's a little too soft filter, or the clarity and structure pulled all the way down or something. So it has this like dreamlike thing to it. It does bother me that the table is a little off kilter at the bottom. I would have used something to get that a little more right, or move the camera over. It's not bad. It's just fine. It's going to get a B. But I like the colors of it and stuff. This is black and white. This could have been like, it is over sharpened, and but it's not a bad picture. I don't know that the pole on the right really adds to it, or either that or the pole needs to be a little more in there, more centered, and not cut off that way. But I'm going to give it a B. But I feel like if you would either crop out the pole to the left, or on the right rather, or pan a little bit to the right so the pole gets a little more in there, or move the camera to the right so the pole's a little more in there, I think it would be more successful. Monarch on a flower. There's something going on. This is, again, one of these over-processed things. I'm going to give it a B, but I could give it a C just because I hate the over-processed thing. The background color, it's like the saturation pulled way too far up. And it's funny, you see the edge of the flower there? It almost looks like it's like the mask that got made was just mucky there, or something about the processing there. And you can see the mask in the lower right of the flower too. It's kind of, or it bleeds through kind of weird going into the background. For technical reasons, I'm going to give it a B. If done correctly, this could be a really nice image, maybe even an A, but as is, it'll get a B. Oh, a baby and a mother. Can't go wrong with a baby and a mother. Black and white is a good choice. It feels like it was cropped from a much bigger frame and it didn't have enough resolution to really hold up. I think the composition could be better. I know you're sort of capturing a moment, which is a whole other thing. And I like the way she's looking at the baby, but I almost want to look into her eyes a little bit more. And I feel like the resolution isn't quite there, so that's going to get a B. Oh, this is really annoying because I wish that like her eyes, I wish that the geometry of the laptop back was really squared off and not sort of not parallelogram. You know what I'm talking about. It's fine. It almost looks like it's structured and created, but I think it was just a get seeing this girl on her laptop with the cards in front of it. It could be if you pulled out somehow and there was like more white and that white thing next to it, it could almost be a stronger image if it was like really sort of THX old movie, like just white on white and just her sort of in there with all the stuff on the thing. I'm going to give it a B. It's a good idea, but I think the execution could have been a little stronger. Yeah, it's a neat picture. I like the colors. I like the boots. I almost feel like it could be a little more stark. It's fine. The composition's okay. The colors are fine. I almost wish the other person wasn't back there, or they had a bunch of them too. So I'm gonna give it a B. Yeah, I feel like there's a similar picture. Number 83 is similar to this one, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see when we get around to it. It's fine. You know, it's a neat street photo of a guy smoking his pipe, with his AirPods in. I don't know. To me, this kind of thing are kind of a dime a dozen. Don't really say anything to me. I'm gonna give it a C just because it's just not enough. I need more decision made rather than just like, oh, guy's smoking, I'm gonna take a picture. I mean, technically it's fine. The colors are fine. The composition's fine. It's more just like the impact of it that kind of takes it down for me. That's a pretty picture. Guy up on the sail. The composition is really nice. Yeah, I'm gonna give that one an A just because I think it's really nice. Just sort of, it's like just this two-tone kind of thing going on. Yeah, it's nice. This is one time where crushing the blacks kind of works because it's kind of a graphical thing to some extent. All right, we're in Italy somewhere, or maybe somewhere else, Persia. Yeah, got columns. Almost maybe a little too warm on the image, and the sky goes a little green. Almost like it was either toned that way on purpose, or like a film, either a film shot or a film pack like added on a lot. Composition's okay. I like the tree. I like the column. It's fine, but it's not speaking volumes to me. But if you back up, it's not a bad image. I'll give that a B. Globetrotters. All right, what makes this is the look on Santa's face. He's really, really, really funny. Yeah, and these kids are just like, I guess I'm gonna play basketball in my winter clothes. We'll give that a B just because it's fun. I wish if a second later the guy on the right had his ball spinning too, I think it would be even a stronger image. As it is right now, it's just like it just missed the moment. So we'll give that a B. Blossfelt. I mean, personally, I would try this in black and white and just crank up the contrast and really try to get the structure pulled up, and it might actually look like a Blossfelt if you wanted to go that direction. I like the white on the back. I think it's technically well done. I think it could go one step further in post maybe. And I feel like if you're going to do this, it's got to be, I don't know, I would rotate those flowers just a little bit more, because the one up the top where it's like one in front of the other is distracting to me. So I would really I would spin it a little bit more and see if there was a slightly better angle. And I would have it come up the middle, like I'd be really deliberate about it. Yeah, I don't know what kind of flower that is. But I'm going to give it a B. But that has potential to be really, really good. I'm assuming the person who took that picture knows about Blossfeld's pictures, because that's what they look like. And they were from the early 20th century, and they're amazing. I don't know, man. Like I mean, the bridge is cool. The road is cool. A little blown out in the back, but it's a little too, a little too boring for me. I'm going to give that a C just because I don't feel like it's like, oh, look, it's a cool bridge. I'm going to keep the cool bridge. but it's not enough. It's not saying enough for me compositionally or impact. All right, here's an example of an image that it's like, are we looking at the architecture or are we looking at the people? I feel like it would be better if it was just the architecture or there was more people in the foreground. Would be really, really cool, like a somebody kind of close up walking by. Pictures like this need to have an element in them that is really sticking out. Otherwise, it's just shapes, but it's not enough structure to say anything. So I'm going to give it a B. It leans towards C. I've taken this picture too, and it's one of those things where it's like taking a picture like this and elevating it involves having an element that really makes it stand out. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty artsy. I like the smears in the background. I like the colors. It's funny. It's this could be very this could be very ordinary, but somehow for some reason I kind of like it. It feels like something that would be on a mood board for an idea that you had. It's like I want it to feel like this. It feels like the lens has gotten fogged up by steam or in the cold. I'm gonna give it a B, even though it's not a good photograph, but like there's something about the atmosphere that I really like. Yeah, saw later, sure. I once had lunch next to Saw Later. This one is really cool. I think compositionally it's neat. I think it was well shot. But I'm going to give it an A just because I think it's really neat what they did. The B is not that interesting a color, but it's very technically proficient, this picture. So the composition is nice. It's technically proficient. It's memorable. So it gets an A. That is a nice portrait. It's a nice portrait. It's not an exceptional portrait. It's not that picture of that bride. So I know there's something about the turn I would have brought the camera down a little bit less of the top of her hair in the sky, maybe a little bit more of the scarf and stuff in her face. So I'm gonna give it a B, but it's not uninteresting. I mean, that's kind of cool from a structural point of view. This is not a picture that I would normally really like, but I think if that thing is actually sharp and a really good picture, that'd be cool. A very cool large print, like a really big print on the wall. This is this is one of those pictures that it doesn't have a main subject, but just the way that the elements are thrown around the frame, there's a lot to look at. I'm gonna give that an A because it keeps sticking in my head because I remember it in the beginning, and I wanted to see it again. So that says something. Yeah, I like this picture too of the woman underneath the raincoat with her kid. Yeah, that's neat, especially the kid's face look on his face. He's like, "Aw." It's good. It's not blowing me away, but it's an interesting example of like street photography. I would have liked a little bit more of the bus around them, maybe. Might have been actually a little more successful. I'm going to give it a B. Construction photo got an A. This one gets a B. Okay, I don't know if this was done in camera or in post. I'm assuming in post, because I don't know how you would do that in camera. Certainly not with the clouds. in my opinion, too much post-production feels like a weird postcard, like a Photoshop experiment. But I don't think it works. I'm going to give that a C. I see what you were doing, but like there are people who do that in camera, and I don't think that was done in camera because there's no way you can kind of get that exposure that way. I like the kid in the foreground. I like the people in the background. I like the exposure. I actually kind of like the just having that kid in the foreground. I would crop it a little bit tighter off the top and maybe get rid of the guy on the right, so it's just the two guys on the left and the one in the middle. I'm gonna give it a B. This is kind of like the one of the boat with the thing. It's just that the silhouette's not quite as striking as the one on the water with the guy up the sail. It's technically proficient. I like the way that it's blacked out, but going down the middle like that, it's a little too ordinary for me. It's the kind of picture I would take, but I would kind of come home and go, I can take that, but like so have a million other people. So like, what does it get me? It's like not identifiable, but it's competently done. So I'm going to give it a B. I think we're going to go with the sky and glass building association with this one. Although I do like the fact that it's got this pyramidal shape and it kind of goes up to this point. So there's this, oh, that's one side of the Freedom Tower, isn't it? Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's neat. I think the sky is kind of cool. I like the reflections, but just compositionally, it's just not different enough. I think having the other building in the building kind of takes away from it a little bit, the reflection of the building. It'll get a B. Nice, competent still life. The light coming in the window or strobe or whatever you used. I feel like it needs a couple more foreground elements if you're going to do this. Maybe a nice silver fork in the front, make it look like an old 15th century, 16th century painting. You can kind of go that direction. I think it's fine. It's competently done, but it's not B. I'll give that a B. Maybe it's a little too warm too. Like the colors are a little off. Like yeah. I like the birds. The birds kind of make this picture, and the couple in the foreground. Again, silhouette thing, kind of like the one a couple ago, where it's like, yeah, it's neat, but what are we saying here? So it's competently done, and the birds are great, but it's not special in a way that it needs to be for this kind of picture to really say something or to be memorable. I'm going to give that a B. I like this color of the sky, though. It's very good. This one is a good picture. I like the American flag. I like the buildings. It's a little over sharpened for my taste. As my friend who takes landscapes and architectural photography, he said, "You're not shooting the landscape. You're shooting the weather." And this one has good weather going on. So I'm going to give it a B. But it's fine, but it's not like, oh my God, did you see that picture of Lower Manhattan from New Jersey? But it's competently done, nice long lens. I maybe would just back off the sharpening just a little bit. It feels a little over processed, especially in the water. I like the fact that the ladder pops in the foreground. I like the fact that it's got all this stacked hay. You couldn't pay me to climb that ladder because I'm terrified of heights, as I mentioned earlier. I'm going to give that one a B, but it's got some good elements in it. I maybe would have gone in and moved the ladder a little bit more diagonal if I was going to do it, because it's a little too close to the pillar right behind it. And you can also play with the color sliders in the black and white, if assuming it was shot in color. I think you could bring the yellows, get some more contrast in the hay in a way that would bring it out a little bit more without sharpening it too much. The color coming through the windows and the color out front are really nice. Geometrically, it drives me crazy that ground is not flat. So I would have done a little keystoning to get everything lined up. And the fact that there's two people in there, but you only see the back of one of their heads. It's like I know you're probably just walking by and saw somebody in there and took the picture, but I'd almost want somebody in there that I could not recognize the person, but just sort of recognize that it was somebody a little closer to the door. Like, it would be stronger, I think, if it was a little bit more personal. As it feels right now, it feels a little snapshotty, but the color is really cool. Seeing this in the world is a good idea. B. When I first saw this, I almost thought it was upside down for some reason, but it's not. Staircase is cool. I might have actually gone a little more contrasty on this. And obviously there's some water outside that's reflecting on the ceiling. That's a nice touch. Looks like it might be a little, like there was like some noise or something. I guess maybe it's just maybe it's a tight crop on another image. So it kind of like lost some of it. It's good. It's fine. I think it could be stronger. I don't know if the crop is quite right, or when you were taking the picture, backing out just a little bit or pushing it a little tighter. I think it's just a little too busy. So it's going to get a B. I really like this picture. I love the whiteness of the background. I like the bull. I can't quite tell from the file coming through on Zoom how technically sharp and everything it is, like if it feels really visceral, but it was memorable. I really wish that bull had another horn. There's something about it that drives me crazy that he doesn't. But regardless, I like the crop. I like the composition. I like the bull. I'm going to give it an A. It's a fine picture of some kind of orchid or something. I don't like that. It's the background's just a little too hard gray, just sort of with a little too much magenta in it. I feel like the color and the contrast and all that could be played with a little bit, and either make a decision on the focus. Either it's going to be deep focus or it's going to be really shallow focus. Right now, it's sort of somewhere in the middle, and it's almost like, I don't know, it's just like it's not saying anything. So while you're obviously shooting with some macro thing or cropping in, I think need a little bit more structure on all of it. I'm going to give it actually a C, just because I feel like this is what you get if you just pointed your camera at a flower with a gray background. But I think that's where you have to make all the decisions and really have it say something. Here's another one, way over processed. Eesh. Really, really, I mean, I love the fact that there's all of this probably snow coming in and all these snow covered things, and there's the people in there, but it almost just feels like a weird watercolor to me, in a bad digitally way. I think that picture could be a B, but I'm going to give it a C because I don't like the way it's cropped, and I think it's way over. It almost looks like it's embossed. Let's see. That is a leaf caught in a spider web. Let's see. I like the color. I like the green, and I like the warm tones in the foreground. I don't know that I would have necessarily taken a picture of it, but I kind of like the short depth of field. I'm going to give it a B because it's got some. You made some decisions. I just think, and similar to the flower a few back, where it was just sort of the background's just a little too nothingness. I feel like this is the same, and there's too much of the background, so B. Okay, here's an example. I don't know if you guys saw the Fablemans there at the end there. They're just like, horizon at the top, interesting. Horizon at the bottom, interesting. Horizon in the middle, not interesting. This is an example of where you got to make a choice. Can't just always be the horizon down the middle. I think having those rocks in the foreground and the horizon higher, where it was more of the reflection, a little bit of the sky, would be more successful. As it is, it's very ordinary. But I mean, yeah, it doesn't. I need to say more. I'm going to give that a C. Although I like the colors. I'd give it a B. Sorry. Talk about some great colors in the skins and stuff. This is cute. I like the kid. I like the woman. I'm gonna give it a B just because I think I see a lot of pictures like this. I think it's cool. I mean, the kid in the foreground is kind of falling out of focus, which is fine. He doesn't have to be in focus. But in this kind of thing where it's the two of them, that's distracting to me. But it's neat. I don't mind the backgrounds going black too. All right, here's a different take on the same guy from earlier. So 83 and whatever it was. I knew 83 was a copy of something. Very similar shot. Same different thing on the same guy. I actually think this one is slightly more successful than the other one. I'm going to give this one a B just because I think seeing the buildings and seeing the trash on the ground and stuff where the guy just happens to be in it is more interesting than the tighter shot from further to the left. Yeah. I mean, I if I was going to shoot this, I'd crop it tighter and just choose which one of them I'm looking at, because otherwise it just kind of feels like I have multiple subjects in it and they're kind of unrelated. Like having the woman and the dog is probably better than the guy up in the right-hand corner. I'd crop that guy out. Yeah. I'll give it a B because it's got potential and it's neat. We're looking down on the people. That's kind of cool, but it needs something more. No, you know what? Scratch that. I'm going to give it a C. I think it's fine, but it needs a lot more to look like something that is I want to look at again. All right, this one feels like it was squeezed horizontally to me. If it was not purposefully, then there's technical problems. If it was done purposefully, then I think it was a bad choice. And it looks like it was up-resed in post or I don't know. There's something weird going on with the compression or the crop. I'm going to give that a C just on technical stuff. Just that bothers me. But it could be a cute picture of the girl. It's just there's something about it that just feels way too distracted from technical point of view. Okay, so we're in the west side entrance of Grand Central, looks like to me. I walk through these doors a lot. I like this. I feel like this picture done right really well could be really successful. And I don't know if that's coming up a bit so we have a little bit more of the fan and the light, and then maybe doing a long exposure so we have people coming in and out kind of as a blur, have the camera on a tripod, because as it is, it's just a bunch of doors, right? But it's the kind of thing where I would take this picture and go, oh, I got to go back there another time and do this like another level up at rush hour. I think it could be really something special. But as it is, I'm going to give it a B. Ooh, love the snow. Look at that. I'm going to give that an A. That's cool. It's I like the grayness, the sky behind the thing. I like the whiteness of doing white on white is very difficult to do for anybody who hasn't done it. I've never been able to do it well. You can't overexpose, but you have to expose high enough that the whites become white. I think it's kind of cool that that tree is just enveloped. It looks like something out of the Grinch. That's a cool picture. Hey, yep. This jockey probably riding by just took off his helmet here, or his goggles. I think the crop is too tight. I think it would be either it needs to be even tighter crop, or it needs to be looser so I can see what's going on, whether the jockey is riding or if he's just walking by. As it is, this doesn't tell me enough of the story, so I'm going to give it a B. Crop is too tight, yeah. And okay, so this is like similar to the earlier ones, way too overprocessed. Some like weird stuff going on in the masks of the hair up top. I mean, I like the guy with the mohawk, but I feel like if it was less processed, it would actually be more successful. I know you were trying to get rid of that guy in the background, but so hard. And I don't know if he was eating that cone or if it just some sort of crop or affecting removed the ice cream. But I think it's, yeah. I'm going to give it a C just because the technical stuff drives me crazy. It feels really digitally and overly processed. But I like the capture of the guy. So this is through rain, similar to the one that I really liked back that looked like France or something. But I think the other one was more successful because it was focused on the rain, not on the thing behind the rain. So the rain sort of warped it all the stuff that was behind. This just looks like there's something in between me and what I'm trying to see. So I'm gonna give that a C just because it. I don't think that works. I think you have to if you're going to choose the rain, you got to focus on the rain and go all Saul Leiter about it. This way, it seems like it's just like a picture that got ruined by rain on the window in between. I mean, the blue is fine. It's very, 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 very blue. I think also just the tint, see, look at the sky, kind of goes violet. I think the colors are a little too affected, a little too saturated and shifted. And I don't think it's really saying anything from a compositional point of view. It's similar to the sky and glass pictures from before, although I think this one is actually less successful because it's less successful from a geometric point of view. So I'm going to give that a C. It's cute. It's a B, I think. I think I would show a little. I would go a little bit, have a little bit more of the boat, and I think it would be a little more successful. I think the boat needs to come in just a little bit more, but I like it. I like the colors. I'll give it a B. Yep. Yeah, that boat needs to come in more. It's kind of neat. It seems like it was, again, like cropped too tight because it looks really and affected a little bit too much in the shirt and stuff. It's like breaking up. But it's kind of neat. I like the woman in the background checking out how she's pouring the soup. I'm going to give that a B as well. And here we're back to a reflection one. which is fine and really artsy, but it doesn't have enough of a structure to have real shape to it. I've taken some pictures of some oil on Gowanus Canal like that. I'm going to give it a B. It's technically fine. It just compositionally doesn't say enough.
I have 13 A's.
I feel
I
like I
have-
just ran a marathon.
I also have 13 A's.
Same here.
Yep, 13 A's it is.
Is that a lot or not a lot?
It's what it is.
Just the right amount.
Okay.
Okay, we're now going to go through the A images,
Yep.
all 13 of them, and we're going to ask you to either give them honors or leave them just as plain old A's, which is
Okay.
very good. Okay, do you want to see them all first?
No, you
Run
can just
through.
go through.
All right, wait a minute.
I'm going to leave that as is.
Wait a minute.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to leave that one as is.
Okay.
That was number 5.
Number 5.
Number 15, I'm going to leave as is. That one should get honors. That's a great shot.
Which one? But we're number
The one,
Nine- 19.
19.
23.
I'm going to leave that as is.
28.
I'm going to leave that as is, except for the cat. The cat's great.
29.
I'm going to leave that as is. I think it, no, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm going to leave it as is. Sorry, 29 as is.
Wait a minute.
Sure.
Okay.
That one is great with honors.
34. 34.
Yeah.
42.
I mean, that's a very pretty picture. Let's say that one gets honors too.
56.
Going to leave it as is, although it's a very good picture.
63.
I'm going to leave that one as is as well.
65.
I don't know why, but I really like that picture. I'm going to give that one honors. There's something about it.
77.
The bull. Yeah, the bull's great too. Let's go with honors on that one too.
87.
Oh, you guys are killing me. How many more do we have left after this? This one?
That's
That's
it.
the last one.
That's it? Then yeah, that one gets honors too. That was a really cool picture. So what, I give 5 or 6 to the honors?
I think I missed one.
No,
I
just
have
5.
6.
Yeah, I have the bride. Let me do that.
Oh,
Okay, now I have 6.
Okay, now, Bill, we're going to ask you to choose the image of the month out of
Oh, man.
6 images. This is why you get the big bucks.
Before I answer this question, I want to let everyone know my Venmo account is at. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man! All right, I'm gonna give it. It's got to be either that one or 34. Can you just? I mean, honestly, God, you can't go wrong with either of those, man. Let's give it to. Let's give it to the bride. I think it's a very pretty picture.
It was 19.
Okay,
Okay, so now we're going to go through A's and then
yes. Okay, first we'll read the winners that received A's.
okay.
Number 5, Untitled by Dove Bieber. Dove, are you here?
He's on a plane coming back from Mexico.
Okay. The next A, number 15.
15.
Lonely Traveler by Rayleigh Dunkel. Rayleigh?
Yeah, hi. That was taken in the underground passage at the World Trade Center.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Just this one person, it just struck me.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Thank you.
I hope you didn't get hurt.
And A for Play of Light by Mike Iannuzzi. Mike?
It's
Yeah,
number 23.
I took this at the Cultural Center of Staten Island, Snug Harbor, and just walked by this building. It was originally in black and white. I was struck by the play of light, how there was so many lines of shadow for just the way the light was coming through. And I did mask the sky and cut down on the exposure in the sky to get that effect.
It's very Walker Evans. I like it.
Number 28.
Number 28, A, Milo and Sue by Charles Levin.
Yeah, this is my friend Sue Williams, who asked me to do some portraits of her for her website. She's a very successful bass player here in New York. And during the shoot, Milo, who's very people-friendly, wandered in behind the bass, circled around her, nuzzled her hand, and then walked over and sat down for about 4 or 5 minutes and just stared at me the whole time.
It's pretty
That is
great.
what you call luck.
Yeah, exactly. You can't make that happen. Not
No,
with cats,
no.
certainly.
No. And I shot photos of her again yesterday, and Milo did not decline to appear.
Well done.
Thank you.
Number 29.
Reeds by Natalie Manzino.
I don't remember where I shot it. I forgot to look.
It's very nice.
But just isolated what I thought was a good pattern.
Yep. And that's why it works, yeah. Also, it's nice because you didn't have where most of them are going into the water isn't in the middle. It's up top a little bit. I think it helps. More
Thanks.
reflection than the actual objects, yeah.
Thank you.
And A for Nile by Bruce Byers. Is Bruce with us tonight?
He was, but sometimes he's left, so I don't know if he's here now. I guess not.
Okay.
And A, number 63, Purple Flower with B by Sonia Durante. Sonia?
Yeah, this was taken at the Conservatory Garden in Central Park.
It was the background that black when you took it, or did you darken it later?
No, I had to darken it because there was a lot of distraction in the back.
Yeah, it's nice. It almost looks like a studio shot.
Thank you.
We're now going to move to the A's with honors.
34.
Number 34, Doolin by Tom Quackenbush. Tom?
This is in the village of Doolin in Ireland. We had been at the cliffs of Moher when Storm Amy hit. It was a hurricane and we had to retreat. And we were about to go to a pub for yet another meal of fish and chips, but I noticed how the water was making the background look like a painting, as opposed to a photograph. So I grabbed it.
Yeah, it's great. Very, very cool.
Number 42, A Window of Time by Alice Soma. Alice?
Yes, hi. That first, and I had to really fight my way in to get close enough to get this shot. And I have a couple of different images, but I like this one the best. And that's about it.
It's a good angle. I like it. Nice. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number 65, A with honors, Construction Zone by Julie Forenbach.
Yes, I was having lunch at in Williamsburg, and there was all this construction, like looking down from where my friend was staying, and it was quite something. About 10 years ago, it was just it seemed like every place I looked was a construction site.
Yeah.
There was so much building going on, and I just loved the patterns here.
Is it a tight crop of the file, or is there like a lot of resolution in there?
No, I'm
Okay.
quite a distance.
Okay. Because it's very cool. It would make a really cool big print, you know.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, A with honors, One Horn by David Miller.
Yeah, that's a white background of snow in Scotland, and I took it because of the one horn. I just thought it was unique.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's just it makes the picture in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's like the off balance of itness. You know, just it rubs, but in a good way, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 87, A with honors, Solitude by Dudley Slater. Dudley?
Yeah, this is on my ski hill in Oregon. Obviously, it's just at the end of a pretty severe storm. If you looked really closely, you couldn't see it on the Zoom, but you can actually see a cable going up the hill, up the slope. It's a ski chair that I skied down. Because it was a storm, it was very low light. I had to take my tripod and set it up in the middle of all this. And Bill, I appreciated your comments on the whites. I spent quite a bit of time in post-processing trying to create a little bit of a sense of dreaminess. And
Yeah, you did a good job.
I think that's achieved by kind of raising the blacks and pushing the whites as far as I could without clipping.
Yep, you did a good job. It's very difficult to do well, and you did it well.
Thank you.
Image number 19, Image of the Month, Bridal Veil by Florence Foreman.
Okay, this was taken at my nephew's wedding in Oregon ago. And it was just a grab shot, really. It was an informal wedding, but it was done in a winery. It was kind of beautiful.
The light is great.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things where sometimes it's just an uncreated version of something can look like it was purposeful, you know, like the way the light's hitting her and the way the veil is flying. Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stop sharing. Okay, good job tonight, Bill. Thank you
Very good.
for your comments. And everybody, thank you for competing. Thank you for joining us to watch. Remember, we've got a lot going on in the next week or two. Please, if you're planning on coming to the holiday party, submit your payment, and we'll see you then. And next week we have a workshop night with Jamie Konarski Davidson. So everybody should come for that. You'll learn a lot. I saw the presentation before. She's very good. Thank you, everyone. Stay healthy and keep warm.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Bill, and happy holidays.